This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
And I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hello, Jason Glick. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Great.
Just let's see, just taking a nice, relaxing evening here. It's like, just taking in everything that's been happening, especially like the big news about Lucasfilm and Disney today, which won't affect this week's podcast, but will certainly affect next week's.
Oh yeah.
Good.
So reserve the comments.
Yeah, because this week's though, it's like as I said last week, I'm talking about one of my favorite webcomics, like basically one of the few ones that I still follow regularly, and that is The Order of the Stick.
Mm.
Now, before I get into this, talking about the series proper, I just want to extend my best wishes and hope for a speedy and speedy and great recovery for its creator, Rich Burlew, who was involved in an accident a couple weeks back. He has been unable to do anything regarding the strip for the last couple of weeks because of injuries to his right hand.
Ow.
So we just want to he had a bad is involved in a bad auto accident. So I understand he's recovery's progressing at pace, but just want to let the man know that take as much time as you need because based on the way the series has turned out so far, we just want to make sure you're alive and well to finish it off.
Yeah, please finish it. Anyway, we want to see the end. Anyway.
Indeed, exactly. But let me tell you what the Order of the Stick is. The Order of the Stick is basically it's on one level, it's basically a satire of all the rules of Dungeons and Dragons. It takes place in a world where all the rules of D&D are in effect. Basically, the point where people actually take ranks in talk about how they've taken ranks in spot, bluff, appraise ancient artifacts, or gather knowledge, or move silently. And they gain levels as well. This isn't handled extremely on the nose, but it's constantly there in the background. We're constantly reminded of it. But at the same time, though, it's also a very well developed fantasy story about these characters who are on a quest to save the world from this great destructive evil. Now, granted, this doesn't sound like a particularly original tale in this case, but as is the case with these kinds of stories, it's all in the telling, the characters, the setup, the long-term planning that really makes it work. Now, about the worst thing that can be said about this series is that it starts off in an extremely nerdy fashion. You've got Burlew didn't exactly intend for the series to be the main draw for his site. I mean, as he mentioned in one of his commentaries for the first collected volume, he wanted to do a site to talk about gaming stuff, and the comic would just be kind of like a nice background feature to it. But turns out the comic became easily the most popular feature on his site, and eventually became the driving force that it is today. I've never read anything. To be honest, I've never read any of his gaming articles on his site. The only reason I go to his site is for the Order of the Stick. Now, the series basically is focused on the exploits of your party of six adventurers. You've got the leader, Roy Greenhilt, who is the fighter. Haley, the rogue, who is who's like a greedy thief with a heart of at least low quality gold. And you've got Elan, the bard, who's basically who basically it's the embodiment of the saying that somewhere a village is without its idiot. He starts off as a bard, but then eventually he gains an upgrade to a prestige class as a dashing swordsman. And then you've also got the team's magic user, Varsuvius, an elf of indeterminate gender, who basically handles all the heavy spell casting, is prone to extremely verbose extrapolations of his spells' abilities. You got Durkon Thundershield, the dwarf cleric, who for most of the time is kind of the series' straight man, except when he's professing his love of beer, Thor, and also advocating the fact that the trees are constantly out to get us all. So, because like dwarves live underground, and like, you've got the tree roots like constantly encroaching on their on their territory. And see, last but not least is Belkar, the the halfling, the halfling ranger, and a complete utter psychotic. He's out. He's in here just like see how many people he can kill throughout the throughout the adventure, and woe be to anyone who gets in his way, even though he's about 3.5 feet tall. Now, the series begins with them just dropped into an indiscriminate dungeon and talking about the advent of D&D's 3.5 edition rules. Now, I will say the series has a very high barrier to entry for the casual fan, because basically, if you're not familiar with D&D, I mean, to be honest, somehow it might surprise you all to know that I managed to go through just about all my adult life without by completing an entire campaign of D&D. I've played some I've been involved in a few parties over the last couple of years, but never actually completed anything. And I managed to make it through all my teens without doing any serious pen and paper RPG stuff as well. Shocking, I know, but I still have enough familiarity to know what they talk about when they say you've got. Oh, it's to talk about when they're making everyone's trying to make their move silently check, and they're saying, "Oh, I got a 21, I got a 23, I got a 19," and then one guy yells out, "Hey, I got a 4!" I mean, I know that means, hey, he missed his check, and that's how it's going to that's how it's going to be represented in the in the game world. But that's the kind of storytelling you get with the first volume, which is called Dungeon Crawling Rules. I mean, it's good joke telling based on the D&D rules system, but it still requires some sort of familiarity with it in order to get to get most of what's going on. But at the same time, though, Berlew still demonstrates that the emphasis is going to be on the characters rather than just jokes at the expense of D&D. We get we're introducing some of the series' main plot visitations by his wizard, the ghost of his wizard father, who can't stand the fact that his son became a fighter, someone who hits things with a sword, when he himself was a great wizard who could control the very magics of creation itself, and little minor things such as Haley's constant thirst for gold, Elon's incorrigible stupidity, Varsuvius's just over verboseness, and we're also told about the main conflict of the series. It's the first one basically interests us to the two main threads of conflict. There's the Linear Guild, which is basically the team set of evil doppelgangers, led by Elon's evil twin brother Nale. He's evil because not only is he intelligent, smart, and cunning, he also has a goatee, and that's dead giveaways. Any huge nerd will know. So, but and also through the machinations of what's collectively called Team Evil. There's Zycon the Lich, who who's responsible for the death of the sorcerer who taught Roy's father, and how he swore a blood oath, and now this blood oath has basically passed on to Roy himself. Red Cloak, the magically empowered leader of the of goblins, and what is known as the Thing in the Darkness. We don't know what he is, but he's mean. But no, he's not mean. He's big. He's powerful, and he's got the innocence and intellect of a child. So you've got these people who are these evildoers who are stuck in the dungeon, and trying to figure out what they can use this gate in the dungeon. The wizard, known as Doricon, has seal up for them. Now the first volume does a good job of setting up this stuff, and just at the same time it's a fun little dungeon crawl. stuff that D&D stuff has been based upon, and it's a fairly self-contained story in and of itself. But once things get past that, then we start getting a lot more depth to it. We start seeing why these people would stick together, like why the Order would stick together rather than just go their separate ways as soon as the dungeon has been cleared. And we also get more depth to to their characters. Like Roy, who is just he's basically for a fighter, he's got a really high intelligence score, and so he is thoroughly annoyed and distressed at having to put up with Elan all these times. And at one point in the second volume, when Elan is kidnapped by some bandits, Roy basically says, "Hey, that's fine, good riddance to him." But then, as the rest of the team is basically plotting to rescue him, Roy eventually realizes that, I'm lawful good. I can't just let this guy go. I can't, even though he's annoying as hell. It's I've still got a duty to greater good in order to rescue him. So it's character growth like that, as well as also finding out that Haley is even though she's extremely greedy, she's also busy collecting lots of gold in order to free her dad, who has been trapped in a prison in a far away country, and also the fact that Vesuvius, the elf of indeterminate gender, has actually been married with kids for several years, but has basically been journeying throughout the world on a quest for ultimate power. And also Durkon, he's been even though he's a dutiful son of follower of Thor. He's been sent out into the world in order to learn more about humans, and only come back when his knowledge has been when he's been asked for by the high priest. So basically with volume 2, No Cure for the Paladin Blues, we start getting a lot more depth to the story, and we find out that it's not just about stupid jokes about rules. Of course, there's still plenty of those, and they're funny, but also just the emphasis on character that was shown in the first volume really starts to pay off here, especially when we meet Miko Miyazaki, the paladin, who paladins are lawful good characters who are just but also can be viewed as horrible rules lawyers who are just basically intent on finding the technicalities in every law, instead of adhering to the spirit of things. Just saying oh, you must adhere to this law even though it's completely unjust, rather than saying this law is kind of unjust, maybe you should change it. And her story goes on to provide one of the best part, some of the most shocking moments in the course of the series. But as it goes on, the series basically develops into basically, the story keeps gaining momentum and depth, especially through volume 2, when we find out the true nature of the conflict. These gates that are set up around the world that Zyklon and Red Cloak are trying to take over. It's they actually control this dimension-rending terror called the Scrawl, called the Snarl, which also, as Berlew explains in his commentaries, is a really interesting metaphor for gaming drama. Basically, the kind of drama that lurks that all gaming groups will have, but they have to sublimate in order to have a good gaming session. Now, and as good as volume 3 is, volume 2 is, volume 3 gets even better because we get to see the throwdown between, because not only do we get to see the rematch between the Linear Guild as well as Nale replacing Elon in a devious scheme, and also the culmination of Nale and Holly and Haley's romance, which is done in a brilliant setup as Elon is filled with doubt as he's just become a dashing swordsman in order to save the woman he loves, but his brother is busy trying to scheme against them. But that's kind of the beauty of this series. Is like Berlou is extremely good at setting up these great moments, like these just like real like wow, god damn it. It's like I knew it. I was like it's like I knew it was coming, but wow, it still managed to be surprising and awesome anyway. Haley regaining her use of her proper. Haley regaining the use of proper speech is one such moment, but Volume 3 also has the fall of Miko Miyazaki, which is still like a so it's still like a really disturbing sense, in the sense that she's not a bad person, but she's such an adherent to the rules and the technicalities that she can't see what's actually going on right here. So her fall is like truly jaw dropping. And the thing is, like, and I don't think I've mentioned this, is that all this is done through really well defined stick character. I mean, like Berlou's style. I mean, the reason it's called Order of the Stick isn't just because in the print only the special print only edition called the Order of the On the Origin of PCs that they were just like what, like after everyone had they'd formed the party, they were just saying like, well, we need to find a good name. It's like they're just throwing out names right there. Roy is just saying, oh, this is terrible. Like, why don't we just call ourselves like the Order of the Rock, because there's a rock right there, or the Order of the Stick right there, and everyone says, oh yeah, the Order of the Stick, that's a good one. And they come up. But the thing is that Berlou's style is all stick figures. I mean, like not just like like really not just like completely undetailed. But it's a really but it's detailed enough to give expression, detail, and emotion to the characters. It's like as we see them on the page. It's like it's like he's managed to create a lot, like a great amount of drama. It's like through this style, and it also reminds me of like how Scott McCloud said in Understanding Comics. It's sometimes that usually when like the style is less detailed, the more the person is able to project themselves onto the characters they see on the page right there. That's very true right here. It's like the style allows like for the direct communication of emotion to the reader, and it's like it works out beautifully throughout the volumes released so far. The series, however, is not without its faults, though. Mainly, the biggest problems lie in the second print-only release called Start of Darkness, which details the origins of Zycon, Red Cloak, and the Creature in the Darkness. Team Evil, as a matter of fact. See, the thing is like I've always been a fan of the villain who struggles. We're talking like kind of like say Lucas Dodge Caravaggio in Lock and Key, Darth Krayt in Star Wars Legacy, even She-Ra in Blade of the Immortal. It's like basically villains who just like they go through like lots of hardships in order on the road to their villainy. But the thing is with Zycon, the Lich, who is basically the main antagonist of this series. Start of Darkness does a great job of breaking any kind of sympathy or empathy I had for him, like because he's basically shown to be basically the kind of character who has enough power to plow through a lot of his threats. I mean, a lot of the big obstacles on his way, and as well as the dominant relationship he has with Red Cloak, including what he does to his brother and his family by extension. It's like it doesn't jar correctly with what we see later on in the series, where they've got this kind of like jokey relationship right there. I mean, it's kind of creepy, and it's like but not in a good way. To the point, especially to the point where like, even though Berlou notes that hey, it's like this is like Start of Darkness is meant to be a dark disturbing prequel where the bad guys aren't punished for their deeds, which will make it all the more sweeter when they are in the main series. But at the same time, though, it's basically like I look at Zycon and now, and he's kind of like he's more frustrating than any time that he doesn't win, that he doesn't lose. It adds to my frustration. He's kind of like the Hammer Girls in Invincible Iron Man. Like whenever they show up, I just want to see like Tony Stark just punch them in the face when he's in a suit of armor. That's the kind of feeling I get when I'm watching when I see Zycon these days. And even though it's like he's Burlew was good enough to like get a nice back and forth right there. Like there's, it's like it's still got that like base frustration right there. Also, if you're reading the series online, it's like it's like the update schedule can also be kind of frustrating because like I didn't. The reason I wound up getting the fourth book through the Kickstarter that Burlew ran, because at the time I was kind of feeling it's like just reading like the stuff that came in this fourth volume, which basically focused on the death of one of the characters and the party being split up over for like well over a year, and it's like it was just like drip fed at such a slow rate that I was kind of like, like, but when are we gonna get back to the main story of them fighting the gates to control the snarl? And it's like, and and even though there were some great moments towards the end, it's like it didn't read as well as it did when I reread it now, because like just having the entire story right there, it's like, and I can just see, oh, this is how it was meant to be read all at once, and that's a whole lot better. Because like, and the thing is, though, you still will want to read the series in print first, if only to online first, in order to just like prevent yourself from just being spoiled by Burlew's great in-depth commentaries. I mean, the stuff he has to say in the books is like really insightful as far as his creative process goes, and it's kind of like, I wish that all comic books had such great and insightful commentaries by their creators. So, but still, it's like, but even then, it's like, even the stuff that hasn't been collected yet, there are still some great moments, such as what happens when Elon comes face to face with what is probably one of the best riffs on Luke, I am your father, bits I've seen in pop culture. It's such a genius moment that, even though it's like, it was so like, I was like, waiting for like my it's like still Scripture was still coming out on a regular basis. I was like, oh wow, it's like I just really can't doubt the fact that like at some point there's going to be there will always be a moment in this series that will justify waiting through this like irregular delivery of the strips themselves. So, and also like there's also a great moment recently when Blue was putting up the series strips after his Kickstarter. We find out that Varsuvius's turn to the Dark Forces in order to achieve ultimate power had much direr lasting consequences than he initially thought. So it's like Burlew is like, he's great at this kind of setup, that he's got a plan here, and even though it's like frustrating to follow it at the slow pace of the series is parceled out online, I think it's ultimately going to be worth it in the end. So, like I said, it's high barrier to entry for people who are not familiar with the rules and regulations for D&D, but I also think the rewards are worth it, and it's like and there's a reason it's still one of the few webcomics that I still follow religiously even today. Even though I know that Burlew is still recuperating, I still keep checking his website just to see, all right, is this gonna be the day that he's all better? But it's like, regardless of when he returns, I'm sure his return will be worth it, and I will certainly be enjoying it when it happens.
What's your opinion, John? Well,
yes, John, what is your opinion?
I didn't realize that you had ended the podcast because I was reading The Order of the Stick online. No, when you mentioned the reason why I call it The Order of the Stick, I decided to look it up and see what these figures look like. Wow, entertaining.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it's stick figures. I mean, like, is it because they're capable of more of a surprising amount of drama considering their crude artistic origins.
yeah, I mean, yeah, and you have a pretty good point. Although I do believe that both can exist. However, for a webcomic, I mean, he's drawing it himself, right? It seems like that, and
Yeah,
he's writing it himself. So I mean, most, if you're talking about like the professional world, yeah, you've got, or non-web comics maybe. Well, even some web comics are done kind of in that fashion, though. With more than one author or maybe more than one artist. I guess Penny Arcade comes to mind. I don't know who actually draws it, but I know both of them are behind that.
yeah, it's like Gabe draws it, Tycho writes it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So there is one person that draws that one. Yeah. There's lots of. You've done a web comics one before, haven't you?
I talked about Girl Genius last year, and that was that's written by Phil. It's written and drawn by Phil and Kaja Foglio, or written by Kaja and drawn by Phil.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that one, and I checked out that one online too, and that one looks really awesome actually. And I asked some colleagues at work about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, the cool colleagues, the ones that would say, oh yeah, not what's a web comic, that kind of a thing."
Exactly.
So, anyway, so yeah, I look forward to digging through this material, reading these, and the great thing about it is that I can sneak it in on a break at work.
Exactly. And like I said, it's like my best wishes towards Rich Ballou for a speedy and well recovery from his current injury.
Yes, absolutely. And with that, we'll wrap up this podcast. You have any idea of what's coming next week? Oh yeah, we already talked about that.
yes, because let's just say that the recent purchase of Lucasfilm by Disney has basically, I was thinking, well, it's like it actually coincided with the fact that I received 3 Star Wars comics in the mail from Amazon today. So I will be digging in. So like I was thinking about just making a podcast out of those in 2 weeks, but I think this makes it official since I also have some stuff I want to address with the fact that hey this could be the beginning of the end for Star Wars as published by Dark Horse.
Yeah, we'll definitely want to get into that one next time. All right, and until then, we'll talk to you later.
All right, night everyone.
All right, bye.